All right, the Michigan Wolverines are wasting no time making some changes in schematics offensively. We've had a lot of explosive plays, so why aren't we scoring more points? I think this might actually be the answer, so we're going to talk about that in the first half of this video. In the second half of this video, we're going to talk about recruiting. I've been liking to throw recruiting into these videos a little bit. As I said, recruiting happens all year. We want to keep you on point, up to date with everything that's happening with Michigan football, recruiting, NIL, all that kind of stuff has completely changed the landscape of college football. Recruiting is still the backbone of a program. NIL can change it quickly. Recruiting is what keeps it going. And so we're going to keep talking about that. If you are new to this channel, it's not my first one. I even have a shirt on that says Sports Talk Detroit right now. Me and my buddy Chris started that channel for the Detroit Lions. If you're a big Lions fan and you like what I'm doing here, go check that out as well. But I needed to get into Michigan football. I just did. I love them too much. And even though it was a very difficult loss on the road at USC, hoping that we can get back on track again. Good coaches, good teams, find a way not to lose 2 in a row. I think this is a very, very important game. If this team comes out flat against Washington, if this team comes out not ready to play, that is going to be a gigantic red flag for me. Gigantic red flag. All right. So here's what I want to do. I want to talk about what they're changing on the offensive side of the ball. We've talked defense here a lot after the USC game, but we also didn't score a ton of points. We're in position to score more, but we didn't score more. We have explosive plays in every game. So what is that differentiating factor? What is the thing that works so well under Harbaugh that is not going yet right now under Sharon Moore and under Chip Lindsey? And the answer to that is, who is your short to intermediate passing game going to? And I'll tell you who it's not going to so far is the tight ends. And yes, he's looking for more and to get guys more involved. Here's some of the things that he said. I will show it to you when he spoke with the media. So he said, we still expect those guys to be involved. We're getting Hogan back too, so now we're splitting some reps. He's talking about in practice. One guy's not getting all the tight end reps and mixing Zach in there and some other guys. So hopefully as the season goes, those guys will become more involved. But at the end of the day, I think you can't determine, hey, we're going to throw the ball to this guy. I think the coverage probably dictates that more than anything. Okay, I agree. All right. It's been talk for weeks now. 2 tight end sets could open up the offense a bit, and there's still plans to do it. Here's what Lindsey said. I think that's a huge part of what we do, the Michigan OC said. I think some of it depends on how the other team sees your guys. In other words, some of our tight ends you may see as receivers and play nickel defense instead of base. Each and every week you evaluate. Okay, who are the players we're trying to get the ball to? And then how does that fit into the game plan based on looks we'll get in those personnel groups? I wouldn't know the stats on 12 and 11 and 13 and so forth. He's talking about personnel, right? 11, 12, 13, that is basically, what is it? 3 receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 tight end, 2 running backs, like all that kind of stuff. And he said, but I think we try to have a good mix of those things and try to do our best to keep guys' defenses off balance, and you use those guys in different ways. A lot of it depends on their skill set, all right? We know that Klein is the all-around player at tight end. We know that he can block. We know that he can catch passes. He had 90 yards in game 1. Everybody talks about how good he is. The dude is just hurt a lot. Hogan Hansen was hurt. And so you saw this offense kind of take another step against Central and then again against Nebraska. And you would imagine that those tight ends who have been hurt for a few weeks would now be catching up now that we're going against Washington. But he went and he said, again, he's not necessarily thinking about calling plays for certain positions like tight end. All right, they're in the progression of the play. This, to me, just sounds like a coach that doesn't want to give up too much, but also this is just the way he does it. And this is why sometimes it's difficult to have a true freshman at quarterback, because you need to read through the progression and get to your right players. Maybe the play is designed and has a tight end look that's open, but Bryce just isn't seeing it. Or maybe the tight end isn't running the right route. Or maybe he hasn't had enough time to get comfortable with them in a game yet because they've been hurt and they've only been a shadow of themselves. So there's all types of options. There's all types of possibilities on this. And these are the things that we have to figure out. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about that. I also wanted to give you a quick little recruiting update. So this is interesting. We have a player that's committed elsewhere that is coming in for a visit. This is the world that we live in now, all right? Do you guys remember the Brady Hoke era? And Brady Hoke had the rule. If you commit to Michigan, if you are committed to Michigan, you cannot visit other places. If you do, you might lose your commit, right? Like you might lose your offer on scholarship. That was his big thing. That is not the world we live in now. Not even remotely close. Kids commit and then they go otherwhere. All right. So Michigan is hosting Sean Stover. He's a 2026 offensive lineman. He's out of Prosper, Texas. All right. Let's hope that he has prosperity for us. What a bad joke. All right. We offered him at the end of September. Okay. And here he is coming in against Washington. That is like 3 weeks after the offer. And he's been committed to Duke for quite some time now. He's been committed since last November. So almost a full year in his commitment to Duke. And what he's going to do is he's going to get to see the academic team. He's going to make connections with coaches and players. He said that he will just be trying to get a feel for the university and the game day atmosphere. Now, his big thing when speaking with his offensive line coach at high school, and he said that Stover wants a really good balance of school and sports. And this is a guy that I think truly does want that. He sits just outside the top 300. He's a 4-star recruit, right? He's a good player, and he's committed to Duke. If you're committed to Duke as a 4-star recruit, that means that you value academics. There are times where the academics, the rigor of the academics at Michigan hurt us in recruiting college athletes. All right. In the past, that has been true. There are also times, I would argue more than less, that it helps us get recruits, especially in the 3 and 4-star range. Maybe not 5-star, maybe not even high 4 stars. All right. Players that are top 100 commits don't care that much about academics traditionally because they're going to go pro. That's their thought. Like, I'm going to go pro. I need to go wherever is giving me the best opportunity to be a pro. But players that are on that fringe, that are good players that could turn into great players, they actually worry about that stuff. All right. It's very interesting. We also have Adrian Hamilton that is trying to recruit. I talked about this briefly in another video. He's a 3-star offensive lineman. He's been committed to Virginia Tech, but you have to remember they let their coach go. All right. Shromore offered him over the phone, so he was happy and excited about that. But again, his teammate in high school, Tariq Boney, is a 3-star edge who committed to Michigan back in April. All right, so Boney is trying to flip him. So 2 guys that go against each other in practice, maybe bringing their talents to Ann Arbor. That'd be pretty cool. Just wanted to talk about a couple of those things. Again, and then there's one other thing. All right. This weekend, and I want you to see this, we plan to host a 2028 5-star quarterback, Donald Tabron, for the game. He plays at Cass Tech. Okay, I want to be very clear on something here. Most people might be like, hey, not a big deal, but is it? It's a 2028. Anytime you have the word 5-star and quarterback next to each other, it's a big deal. If you can get an early commit from a quarterback to a recruiting class, it completely changes your recruiting class. You remember J.J. McCarthy, that early commit from him and how he recruited and completely changed the way that recruiting class looked? It's a big deal. So we have that, and we have a guy, Khalil Taylor, a 4-star wide receiver who decommitted from Penn State after the firing of James Franklin. That would be another huge get for us. Look, again, Michigan. Offensive linemen are the key to make everything run. But we need dynamic wide receivers and great playmakers throwing them the ball if we want to continually be in the mix for the college football playoff and national championship runs. All right. Hope you enjoy the videos. I know I enjoy making them. All right. So if you like them, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.